Uh, hmm. Alright, okay, so I'm real mad. I'm really mad because I just recorded this. I literally just recorded this whole video, but I forgot to have the mic turned on. So that's a whole thing. But anyway, here's hoping that I actually capture some sound this time, and also if this ends up being anything like what I just did, then this is going to be circa 20 minutes. This is probably going to come out to be rather long, especially with some preamble. So, fair warning, this is going to be a long video. And you might want to skip to, I don't know, like, an exact time code, but you might want to skip to around anywhere to 4 to 5 to 6 minutes in if you want to get straight to my thoughts on the episode Oxygen. But first, let me just say I'm real sorry that if you're one of my subscribers who has not been following my Facebook and by extension don't know why I haven't posted any videos in a while, for once, it's not because I'm too lazy or too busy. It's because my computer is completely busted. So I can't actually record or edit anything. So this is my attempt to give you guys maybe some content. A vlog is pretty much all I can do at this point, even though I prefer scripted content to vlogs. If you couldn't tell by the fact that all my videos are scripted, I don't know, I like scripted reviews more. Hopefully, you guys, anyone who watches this, doesn't mind me going off, off script, me just sort of rambling a bit, talking about my fresh thoughts on Oxygen and Extremis. And also, of course, I have, if you're wondering where my thoughts on the earlier episodes of Doctor Who Series 10 are, because I did say I would do them weekly, I have actually been covering these episodes weekly uh, on my friend Lucy's channel, which I will be sure to remember to link in the description at some point. But Lucy herself is also actually having computer issues, which is why I'm doing these two episodes on my own. We may cover them as a group, the two of us and our friend Edward, like we've covered all the other episodes. And we've also been doing class, and we've been on and off going Doctor Who earlier series. We did series 1, we're in the middle of series 2. If you're interested in my thoughts or seeing me in a group talk about any of those things, Doctor Who Series 1, Series 2, Series 10, or class, then you can go to Lucy's channel, and we do them as live streams every Sunday. So if you maybe want to visit her channel, subscribe, catch us live on Sunday nights when we talk about Doctor Who in class, you can do that. But for now, I'm just going to talk about Oxygen and Extremis because it's probably going to be at least a week before we can talk about the shows as a group again. So, yeah, I'll talk about Extremis in the next video. I may record it immediately after this, but I don't know, man. My throat is starting to hurt real bad. I just talked for 20 minutes straight for no reason. I'm probably going to record my thoughts on Extremis tomorrow. So, talking just about Oxygen, I suppose, start talking about, by talking about Jamie Matheson, where this ranks among his episodes. He came in Doctor Who Series 8 and immediately became like the new golden boy. Everyone loved Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline. I love those two episodes. People were a bit more iffy on The Girl Who Died in Series 9, and I can completely understand that. I like that episode a lot, but it's a it's a couple of rungs below Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline. But Oxygen is around The Girl Who Died for me. Jamie Matheson has yet to write a bad episode out of 4. All 4 of them have been really good, but I think there's a noticeable divide in quality between the first two and the latter two. But with that being said, Oxygen was real fun. At first glance, it's sort of a generic Doctor Who base under siege thing, but not really. But thinking about like just the general concept of the episode doesn't come off as all that unique when on a first glance. But thinking about it more, I really do like the idea that the conflict this time is a corporation setting up its workers to die as soon as they become less profitable to keep them alive. And Doctor Who has made capitalism the bad guy several times before. This show has not shied away about how being greedy and money hungry has been the cause of tons of problems, even in the classic series. But I suppose, and on the note of just like it being a corporation that's the bad guy, this is sort of like not actually the episode, but it's like what I felt could have been potentially really cool. And I'm like the one person who 2 years out still cares about this, but I really thought it could have been fascinating if the bad guy of this episode was Gus, or like the people behind Gus from Mummy on the Orient Express, because we have that episode that ends with the bad guys behind the whole situation are never stopped, and Gus is just off. We don't know, and we tie that back into series 5, and so it comes off like like we're easily setting up that Gus or whoever's behind him could be a recurring bad guy. And I would love that to happen because modern Doctor Who has really, like, outside of the Weeping Angels, they have completely failed to create a recurring villain that doesn't have its roots in the classic series. And even then, outside of the Master, all of the recurring bad guys, including the Weeping Angels, have sort of been like faceless hordes of enemies who the general premise of each episode is always the same. It's always stop the Cybermen invasion, stop the Dalek invasion, stop the Weeping Angels, don't blink. But with this sort of nameless, faceless cabal of people that Jamie Matheson created for Mummy on the Orient Express, we have potentially a really unique recurring bad guy or bad guys who every episode they appear in can be a radically different premise. Where Mummy on the Orient Express was like sort of a weird scientific experiment with the Doctor and Clara and everyone on that train as lab rats. This episode is this could have been that same group of people, but they have like different branches and different arms and different. So part of their interest is in like studying things and doing this weird sort of study on this mummy creature. And another thing could be they just want money and they're interested in like mining oxygen, and they make this pattern of killing off crews whenever they stop being profitable. And I don't know, I think there's a real easy way to write this episode where the people behind Mummy on the Orient Express are behind the same situation. And I don't know, I just really want Gus to show up again. I know I'm the only one who cares, but I want that group to be like, if not Matheson's recurring bad guys, then just recurring, like a recurring entity in this series. I don't know, I think there's a lot of potential there. But segueing back to talking about the actual episode and talking about just the suits themselves, they're real creepy. And the image of the corpses walking around on the hull of the ship when the Doctor and Nardole look out that window is just a real terrifying image. And I love, like, the way it's played. And I feel real unprofessional right now, I'm sorry. And it's kind of I don't actually have anything to like support this assumption, and I don't want to assume too much. But there's a line the Doctor has when he asks if the suits are maybe capable of evolving and growing, and and there are things in the episode to suggest that that's the case that make me think that Matheson was thinking about Smile as he wrote the episode, because that's an episode where that just happened. We just watched AI sort of grow into a sentient species, and this episode, it leaves it up to you to decide whether or not that has happened again with these suits, because at the end, the way that they sort of respond to the Doctor talking to them as if they're real people, and they respond repeatedly throughout the episode to human human speech rather than ones and zeros of information. And there's a bit where this couple at the beginning of the episode, the wife or the girlfriend, it's not really clear what their relationship is, she dies, and her suit then walks around with her corpse in it like all the other suits do. And at the end of the episode, once the Doctor sort of convinces the suits to give them all of their oxygen, uh, her suit goes straight for her boyfriend and gives him her oxygen. And the boyfriend or the husband or whatever, his name is Ivan, he says, thank you to the suit as if it's a real person. And there are a couple of ways to read into that line. Like, is he talking to the ghost of his significant other, or is there maybe a bit of residual left of her in the suit, or is he just talking to the suit? Did the suit go to him because maybe it's got a little bit of her consciousness left in, or did it go to him specifically because it is alive and maybe it feels a bit of guilt that it's parading around the corpse of his loved one, or is it maybe just a complete coincidence? I don't know. I think there are a couple of different ways that you can read into that, and any one of them is really fascinating. Like what it says about the suits, what it says about that guy, that he says thank you. And I don't know, just that really stuck with me. And on the character side of things, there's not that much to talk about. Like, there's Bill and her relate. I did want to mention that I've really liked Bill this series, and I'm really impressed with how consistent that it seems we're writing her. Where it's like, in contrast to Clara, I grew to really like Clara over time, and she started growing more consistent throughout Series 8 until we'd really solidified who she was in Series 9. But in her first series, when she's with Matt Smith in Series 7, I get the strong impression that all of the writers on Series 7 had a different idea of who Clara was, and there wasn't really like a consistent image among the writing staff of who her character, like what her traits were. And so that led to her coming off as real inconsistent and real generic throughout her first year. And like half a series in with Bill, and we do not have that at all. I feel like I know who this person is, the way that she reacts to things, especially death, like reacting to the dead bodies in this episode, like reacting to the death that she sees in Thin Ice and Smile, it's being real consistent. And like the way that she interacts with the Doctor, the way she interacts with Nardole, where it feels like everyone got the memo for who Bill is, as opposed to Clara, or maybe even someone like Rose or Martha, you could argue. Different writers feel like they have different visions. We don't have that here. And speaking of Nardole, I don't have too much to say about him. I like the group dynamic that the three of them have, and I'm glad that we keep it up in Extremis. It's very much a different dynamic to what the Doctor had with Amy and Rory, so I like that it doesn't feel like we're retreading that relationship. And the one big thing I have to say about Nardole is that I'm really impressed come the end of the episode when he's putting his foot down and telling the Doctor that they can't go off world again because what if something happened to him? Like, Nardole has spent the last several episodes being purely comedy relief, and he's introduced in The Wedding of River Song as just this real goofy, sort of nothing joke character. But in this moment, I buy that he is the authority in this situation. Like, given who the Doctor is as a person, I find it given who the Doctor is as a person, I find it real impressive on the part of the writing and especially Matt Lucas as an actor that come this scene at the end of Oxygen, I buy that completely that he is in sort of a position over the Doctor, and we will get moments in Extremis where he will make comments about like he's licensed to kick the Doctor's ass or kick Bill's ass, and I buy that he could do it, and I buy that he would do it, and that is an impressive sort of feat that I buy that with this character. And last note, which is speaking about that scene, which is where it's revealed that the Doctor's blind, I was real impressed with that. I'm real glad that, of course, it's going to be reset probably whenever the Doctor regenerates. This is a throwaway comment in Extremis, but it's probably going to be that whoever the next Doctor is going to have his eyesight back completely. But I like that the way it seems we're going is that for the latter half of the series, the Doctor is going to be completely blind. And that was a real brave move, I think. And I don't know, that was real impressive. And that's probably where I'm going to end out here. I actually managed to get this shorter than the first go around, so I guess that alone made it worth doing this a second time. Although my throat seriously hurts. I don't know if I'm going to do Extremis, because I also have a few things to say about that episode. But I don't know if Lucy and I and Edward are going to tackle this on her channel once she's able to. If we do, there are a couple of things that I left out here that I could mention there. So, just so that I have anything to say if and when we do that, I'm gonna leave some notes untouched, but that's my general thoughts on the episode, the main concepts, and, like, the main character work of the episode. Really liked it. Not as good as Flatline or Mummy. Missed opportunity regarding Gus, but that's just my stupid desire to see Gus pop up again. There you go. I really hope that you got anything out of this video. I'm really sorry that I can't do scripted stuff. I don't know when the next scripted video I'll be able to make is. I think it'll just be vlogs, like, for a while, a couple of months, maybe. It's looking like a few months, but because I gotta scrounge up some cash to buy a whole new computer. So yeah. But until then, I don't know. Talk in the comments about if you want me to talk about anything in particular, because I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 twice now. Haven't had a chance to do a video about that. Some videos I said I would do, I haven't had the chance to do now because the computer's busted. Anything you want to see me talk about, just sign off and I'll find a way to get to it in vlog form. That should be way easier to make and way easier to post. It'll be less fun for me, but I don't know. Just take that as you will.